It's really not sunny though. So Josh, this weekend we've got the Legacy Preservation Series 1K coming up.
Yes. Not a 1Kish. That's a real 1K.
No, it's a straight up 1K no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
1K
good.
all day.
All baby. All right. Are you gonna play?
I actually cannot make it. I was really hoping to cast that event,
that's a shame,
and
okay.
I got some family shenanigans going on.
Sure.
And you know, I'm still in that ripe young age where I have to do the family shenanigans.
Family.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
So sadly, Magic has to take a back seat on that day, and I will be missing the 1K. It's actually the first 1K that I've not participated in or casted. So
That's a shame.
Yeah.
I also unable to make it. I'll be in GPLA.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people going down for that.
Yeah. The timing got a little awkward, but that's okay. What would you play this weekend?
So I've been on a Death and Taxes kick for quite a while in Legacy. I think it's one of the most well-positioned decks, and once I figure out how to beat Miracles, I think the matchup will get better.
Okay.
I think the way that I beat Miracles is I just ban Terminus, and then it kind of just solves itself.
There's no ban phase in this game though.
Yeah. You know, people keep telling me that, and I
Yeah?
keep on telling them that I'm banning Terminus, and then they play it anyways.
Okay. Here's an idea. Cavern of Souls on human,
Yeah.
and then Meddling Mage.
Okay, and just name Terminus?
And just name terms.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that kind of counters it.
If they try to swords it, you just decline.
Yeah.
Just say like, no thank you, and they put the swords back. So you get to choose a different creature.
You may choose a different target, or you may put it into the graveyard. Either mode is okay for me.
Fantastic.
The solution that I've been thinking about is splashing very light for rather than Meddling Mage,
Yeah.
but into green for Gaddock Teague.
Oh, ooh.
And
That's a
Gaddock
Kithkin
Teague is a
advisor.
spicy meatball.
You're not
my,
wrong.
My favorite thing actually in the world to do with Gaddock Teague is...
Can I guess?
Yes.
Is it in response to the Miracle Trigger? Activate Aether
It
Valorant
is!
2?
It is!
How much is that?
Well, it's about a 50% chance that my opponent doesn't believe that the rules interact the way that I know them do.
Okay, all right.
I know them rules do interact good.
Is that? I'm not a math expert, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Oh,
I didn't do that either.
how are the Gaddock Teagues there?
You know, they're good everywhere.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
you have to deal with a Kithkin advisor, though.
Yes.
So let's look at our first round.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
Should we get the John Mirror match at table 1?
No. Please, no.
Is that a good way to start a tournament?
No.
Tournament? No? All right.
Yeah, see? I think we could get... I don't know any of these people. Oh, goodness. What if
Can we
got...
get table 9?
I'd be okay with table 9.
That's a good round 1 feature match. Table 9 is Mike Kiesel, the legacy master of the area. One of the many legacy masters.
Eldrazi champion online.
Yes.
Yes.
The budget deck online, of course.
Facing off against the legend himself, James Johnson.
Yes.
Giant Slayer.
So we have a group chat for all the casters, and there was a really funny situation. Oh, you know what? This was actually just in the Magic the Seattle Wing Facebook group.
I think it was in Eternal Magic.
Oh, was it?
But I'm not sure.
There's a lot of Facebook groups and a lot of places where we talk about Magic.
Exactly, yeah.
This is one of the many places. So, as a little bit of kind of illumination on the story, James Johnson is nicknamed the Giant Slayer for promptly beating, was it Huey Jensen in round 2 in the 0-1 bracket of a GP?
I thought it was I think I recall it being in Seattle, like in Star City Games Open.
Yeah, okay, yeah, SCG Open.
Yeah.
But I think it was round 2 in the losers bracket, and he's paired against Huey Jensen and smashes him in 2.
Straight up demolishes him. I feel like I tell the story every time I'm on camera.
It's an important story, and it's an important way to bring James Johnson into the fold of
That's right.
the viewers.
In delight.
But so James Johnson played, and proceeding after the match finished, he proceeded to ask, "So, Mr. Jensen, how long have you been playing Magic? I'm very curious."
It's still funny. It's still funny every time.
Huey's response was, "I'm never coming to Seattle again." So,
That's the thing. If you want to come to Seattle and you want to bring your legacy game, you better bring the ace, bring the hot stuff.
yes,
Because this is how we do here. Every week we get in the 30s,
yeah,
easily in the 30s, of people who've been playing Legacy a long time, duking it out, like bringing the full game,
absolutely.
competing under the lights, just on top of the tables as well. And so Seattle really does protect this house.
Yes, this house is protected.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to stop my feet and so on. So we've got James Johnson facing off against Mike Kiesel in this first round. I don't know what either of them are playing.
I'm gonna guess Rug Delver versus Miracles or Eldrazi. That's my guess.
That's pretty safe.
But
Okay.
I never finished the James Johnson story.
I'm
I
sorry.
just told the precursor, the origin story, if you will. And now we're
yes.
getting to the second movie, the sequel, if you will. So it turns out that the best way to elaborately troll a pro is you play them, and you have to know that they're a pro, and it's got to be aware. And then after you win, after you beat them 2-0, it's very important that you beat them 2-0. You say, oh, Mr. Reduke, you're a great guy. I really respect you. Could you sign something for me? And we're like, oh yeah, absolutely. You just hand them the results slip and walk away.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's brutal. How could you do that to another human?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay,
You
fair
have to
enough.
start out by beating a pro 2-0, and I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
As the only time I've ever played a pro was versus LSV, where he promptly 2-0'd me on a feature match.
Straight up slaughter.
It was the first tournament I'd played in, I believe, 2 years.
Oh, fair. Okay, that's a good way to warm up.
Yeah, it was the Reanimator mirror right after Mystical Tutor was unbanned, or right before Mystical Tutor was unbanned, and right before Mystical Tutor was unbanned, and right after Entomb was unbanned. So there was like a 3-month window where both of those cards were legal, and then Mystical Tutor got banned.
That felt like so long. I played a lot of Legacy at that point.
It was a good time. It was a good time. But we have this match to go.
I believe we're coming in.
Let's talk
coming
about
in
this.
hot. That's right.
Wow, I was right.
Okay.
So it looks like James Johnson is on the right, playing that Rug Delver. Ooh, look at what he's got right there on his little chin.
Ooh, little.
He's got a little friend.
That's
And we've got the Colorless Menace on the left side.
Mike Kiesel bringing that Eldrazi to the table here.
Yeah.
What I like to see. And we've got this. Looks like the player's getting just set up.
It's like our casters get our technical support, and Chris Cornejo also getting set up, making sure that we got that life pad visible.
That's right. Just as James looks like he's taking this first mulligan down to 6 cards here. Okay, so what do you know about this Rug Delver versus Eldrazi matchup?
So Eldrazi has this card called Chalice of the Void, and it counters all spells with CMC1.
Is that good?
Well, it turns out that James Johnson's deck is land, 4 Tarmogoyf, and 1 drops. So
Okay, so
18 lands, 4 Tarmogoyfs, and 1 drops. There's a Force of Will and a Daze, but those don't count.
okay, sounds good. So it looks like Chalice of the Void is going to be a big part of the matchup here.
What's really awkward is you can't stifle Chalice of the Void on 1. I mean, you can,
Hello.
but you also can't. And it looks like Chalice on 1 is the start.
Fantastic. Okay, this looks like Mike starts off with one of his best openers here. Although he does have only that City Gate Trader, so it means he's not going to be able to take huge advantage out of his early start. He's going to have
Who
to
needs
throw
to?
away lands. That's right.
He's just going to land a Mimic and pass. No need to do anything else. It looks like James is going to end step brainstorm and say, do you know about your onboard trick, or did you miss it?
Require his opponent to know how to play. I think that's a fair bet.
You know, if James had casted that and Mike pointed to the Eldrazi Mimic, I would have to say, yeah, the Eldrazi Mimic turns into a brainstorm, has 0 power and toughness. That goes to the graveyard as state-based action. That's how the rules work. I didn't make that up. So we're going to see a Tarmogoyf now. Oh, it looks like James was actually intelligently running his brainstorm into the Chalice, saying either this resolves or it goes to the graveyard and my Tarmogoyf grows. Because whatever dies grows the Tarmogoyf.
I don't accept that.
I read that on the flavor text of the card.
It is what it says.
It is there.
Yeah, sorry. Players tying it up at 18 points each. Mike going to see a handful.
Sadly not Cabal Therapy. Looks like 1 Nimble Mongoose is getting exiled.
The goose is loose. Well, not loose. It's
These are very tame, actually.
Yeah.
They are not leaving James's hand for the rest of the game.
well restricted.
And we got a 4/4 Thought-Knot Mimic coming in.
That's right. Going to bring James down to 14 life points here. As he draws here, finds himself hey, that's not a wonder up right there. That card might actually be relevant at some point.
It's actually going to be very relevant, as Mike did just lose a City of Traders. Looks like we got a Goose hitting the bin. Tarmogoyf's going to grow.
That's right. Bringing it up to, I think, 3-4.
Yes, 3/4.
Means it just shy of being able to fend off that Thought Knots here. Cannot attack with impunity here.
Chalice of the Void is a draw for Mike. Looks like he's going to play a City of Traders. He's got a second copy of Thought Knots here in his hand.
That's pretty good.
Looks like he's going to be deploying that. Trigger his Mimic. That's going to get
and it's
dazed.
Dazed. Very nice play. Means James is going to save himself 4 points of life, preventing that colorless creature from entering the battlefield.
Yes.
Triggering the Eldrazi Mimic as well.
However, the problem is that Tarmogoyf is still a 3/4, not a 4/5, so it will not be able to stop that Thought Knots
He
here.
needs to find a sorcery or somehow destroy an artifact.
Yes, that would be good. How
Maybe
about
Mike-
a Reality Smasher?
Yeah, that will make it difficult, although that's going to have to resolve.
Yes.
Mike being short, only at 4 lands here.
James is holding 2 lands and a Nimble Mongoose, though. Not a lot of spells to cast there. Looks like we're going to update these dice, use the proper ones so we can see them on camera. Though we knew it was on 1, we now know that it's on 1 and 2. This actually stops every single spell in James's deck besides Force of Will.
That's a shame. And
Yep, it also means that James goes straight to the scoop phase.
there it is. Could have found a sorcery to generate a second Tarmogoyf, but would have been ineffective.
That's
also,
the dream.
gives Mike the opportunity to play another Chalice on 1 into his Chalice on 2, countering it, putting it into the graveyard. But that's a little dicey.
Unlikely. So it looks like James is dropping his price of progress. He knows that's coming in. Unsure about everything
Is
else.
that a
But
Snapcaster Mage?
I think it was a Vendilion click.
Oh, that
actually.
makes a little more sense.
Slightly more, but not a lot more, in my opinion. It is. It's nice because it disrupts. What's the word I'm looking for?
It gets around.
It
the
gets around
Chalices for
Chalice.
sure.
Yeah, it separates your mana curve. What's the word I'm looking for? Starts with a D.
Oh, yeah.
You're the math guy.
It does. It does.
It does a word, yeah.
It disturbs them.
Yeah.
It deflects.
Distributes. There we go.
It does distribute them quite well.
That's the
right.
scientific term I was looking for.
That's right. Yeah. It looks on Mike's side. He's only bringing in a couple cards here. I think his main deck is pretty well situated against
Yes.
the Rug Delver deck.
The only thing it's not situated against is a bunch of wastelands, and James drew 0 wastelands that game and 4 lands, which I think has to be the highest ratio of lands to not wastelands I've ever seen James draw.
It's the upper theoretical limit, and we have observed it here in practice here.
And so it looks like James has a bunch of cards in his sideboard that are not great. Null Rod only stops activated abilities.
Yeah, questionable against the deck full of triggered abilities.
Yes. Triggered abilities of artifacts.
That's right.
World, what's the card? Endbringer, Worldbringer, Worldbreaker?
Endbringer.
Is that the card? Yeah.
Endbringer is a card. I'm not sure if Mike is playing it.
The one that untaps during your opponent. Okay.
That's Endbringer.
In the pre-release, I was playing that card, and I didn't realize, for some reason, I just thought it didn't untap on my turn.
Oh, that would be fair.
So,
But it doesn't. It does untap on your turn.
Yeah.
It untaps a lot.
So like everyone's like, man, this card's really good, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I just like draw a card every turn or ping them. He's like, dog, what are you doing with your life?
Have you read the whole card?
And I was like, yeah, that's the problem. I didn't not read the whole card.
It
I
has
only
like
read
9 lines of text. It's insane.
I only read the whole card. I should have not read the card at all, and it would have been equally as good.
Just this 5D for 5/5.
Yes.
Is that how do you refer to the diamond color? symbol?
Usually it's D or devoid.
That's fair.
Sometimes I say Eldrazi. I know that's wrong, but it usually gets the point across. Like if I'm 3 Eldrazi, I'm talking about that, not Seer.
Yeah, makes sense.
I know it's wrong.
Yeah, I thought about referring to it as star, but diamond just sounds dope.
Yeah.
I think.
Also, shortening it to D is very fun.
Ooh, he got the. Anyway, so taking it off to the second game here, looks like James has got a lot more interaction and the ability to resolve a 1-drop before Mike plays
Yeah.
his Chalice of the Void.
1-drops are pretty good on the play versus Chalice of the Void decks. Also,
Traditionally.
Rub Delver is very, very good on the draw or on the play in this matchup rather than the draw, just because Daze is active to stop
Right.
the mana accelerated turn 1 play from Eldrazi.
That's right. The Eldrazi deck, as I understand it, has a lot of Ancient Tomb type effects. Lets them get 2 drops out on turn 1. Daze is still good against that.
Yes, Daze affects their curve if they're curving out, is the way to look at Daze.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike taking a mulligan here. Is he hunting for that Chalice of the Void? Does his deck
I
have,
imagine so.
Does he have opening hands that are good against Rug that don't involve that Chalice on one?
I imagine so. I think that if he's probably looking for hands that have a couple more lands than usual, so rather than looking for maybe
Okay.
2 or 3 lands, he's looking for 3 or 4 lands and a couple copies of Thought-Knot Seer.
How about 5? How about 4 lands, a Chalice, and a Reality Smash?
That hand's a spicy meatball. I would keep that one. He's got a lot of different lands in hand too. There's a lot of different options.
Okay, Noah Mongoose going to lead it off for James here. Mike going to follow back with a Temple.
Pedal, and we got a Chalice on one coming down. Mike is deploying a couple resources for this. Looks like James is going to fire off a Force Will, pitching a Force Will to get that off the table.
Very nice. Puts an artifact into the graveyard. Going to be relevant later for Tarmogoyfs.
Grows that Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolts to draw.
Ooh, very nice.
And I
But
believe James is missing a land drop, so he's going to fire off this Brainstorm. I wasn't sure if he should pitch the Brainstorm or the Force there, but I believe the answer was Brainstorm. Draws himself a Wasteland.
he's
Spicy
rewarded
meatball.
for that. Yeah. Do you want to? Is Eldrazi Temple juicy enough to?
I
fire
believe
off that
so.
Wasteland?
I believe so. I
Would you
think
destroy any land on demand.
I think I'd destroy any land that's not called City of Traders
Valid.
or Waste. Because what I found out is that you can't Wasteland waste.
Because it's the wasteland.
It's just too basic. It's too likely to go to Starbucks.
It's 100% PSL over there. All right. Doesn't find a fetch lane, so he's going to be stuck with his top 2 cards for a minute.
That's not the end of the world for him, though, as he's going to be able to deploy a Delver next turn and guarantee it flips.
Oh, that's a very good.
The
point.
thing that I don't like, though, is I believe he's going to have it flip on an Ancient Grudge. That's kind of a piece that I want to hide. I don't know if that's the card to reveal.
Fair.
Oh, no, he put the Ancient Grudge on top, so he's going to draw the Ancient Grudge.
Okay, yeah, so he's got the Delver in his hand currently.
So I believe it's a Force of Will on top of his library, then. I'm not 100%. No, it's not Force of Will. I can't remember what it is. He's got a thing on top of his library, and it's there.
Endless
gonna-
one to draw here.
3/3 coming in.
Very nice.
What's the 3/3 for 1 mana? Did they print one of those?
Rogue
Wildman
Elephant.
Cattle.
Oh, and it's Dismember.
Oh,
that's
these members.
likely to get cast this turn.
I could imagine so. I also don't think he cares that much about a 3/3. Like, is it really the end of the world to matter about that? Like, we know that Mike has a Reality Smasher in hand, and James has to imagine there's either a Reality Smasher or a Thought-Knot Seer in hand for Mike.
Something big.
And I would much rather kill either one of those 2 cards. And you know what? Mike's hand is actually double Thought-Knot Seer Reality Smasher, so...
Yeah, so for sure, valid targets on that Dismember.
And James, if he uses the Dismember here, it's going to get him in for 1 more damage. That's
Yeah.
not a lot. It's not really worth it, in my opinion.
He's going to put an extra card in the graveyard here. It looks like he wants to take the aggressive line here.
He's going to take 4 to deal 1. I don't know if it's worth it. I think he could have just taken it.
Yeah, I don't think that Mike has missed a land drop yet this game.
No, he has not.
Though we know that Mike does have to peel in order to play anything at all.
He did it.
Yeah, finds himself a Cavern of Souls, going to get that Thought-Knot Seer onto the table.
Yep. Thought-Knot Seer is resolving. James is probably knocking himself for doing that.
Secret's going to be out. James is like, I don't have anything good.
Yeah, this hand's not great.
Yeah.
He's got Lightning Bolt, Ancient Grudge, and I believe that is a Nimble Mongoose. Looks like Goose is getting not so loose.
Yeah, it's
It's getting chained.
highly restricted to one on the field. Ooh, and a Ponder off the top is a very nice draw. It's going to put a sorcery into the graveyard, the sixth card, very close to hitting that
Finding a
threshold
fetch
point.
land here is great. Ooh, Double Daze, pretty powerful, as Mike's probably not going to play around 1, and he's probably not going to play around 2.
That's really interesting. James now can set up the days for next turn.
Oh, you know what? There's a Cavern of Souls on Mike's side of the board, so
Ooh.
maybe this Daze is actually just atrocious.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
However, there is a red source. There's not just any land, there's a red source, which is the
Yeah.
color he wants, but he really, really wants a fetch land.
James drew the days, maybe not noticing the Cavern of Souls on Mike's side.
Yeah, we'll see, we'll see.
Although, that will be the 7th card in the graveyard for sure, no problem.
We've got a Thought-Knot Seer coming down.
Days that sucker.
Daze happening, and Mike's just going to go ahead and point at his Cavern of Souls. And
Yeah, James
James not,
realizing a little too late here.
so many devoids, so little time.
Yes, devoid of. I got nothing on that
So
one.
I imagine James is going to be losing this Lightning Bolt.
It still has the action mode as well.
However, he does have a 3/3 Nimble Mongoose, though,
That's right.
which is still getting outclassed by these 4/4s. I really think that using the Dismember on that 3/3 was probably a mistake.
On the endless one? That's right. Yeah, it did require Mike to have a little bit clunkier of a hand. James had deployed one of his wastelands earlier in the game, so maybe had the intuition that his a second land.
At worst, I think James could have waited until Mike's end step to dismember the Endless one. I don't think that getting in for 1 damage was very relevant there.
Yeah,
and
see
the
what's going
tempo
on.
gain that he gained by killing it was pretty much mitigated by him not doing anything else.
Smart, yeah. Only attacking for 1, maybe deploying an additional threat could increase his damage on the board. Although Mike now is going to get Reality Smasher, and that's really sad.
He's going to smash the reality, and
that's
James is
it.
going to get taken down really quickly. That
Holy
was,
moly.
jeez.
Yeah.
That was 10 minutes?
Yeah, taking it. Mike Kiesel taking it down 2-0, showing his prowess with the colorless Eldrazi deck. As we're going to head on back up to the booth now, and we'll talk a little bit about that matchup.
Yeah.
So that was, a big misstep out of James there. It gave Mike a huge opening to deploy.
I don't know if it was that huge of an opening.
Okay.
James would have been able to kill a 4/4, and then his Nimble Mongoose would have been able to force field the Endless one.
Okay.
And he would have drawn an extra card due to killing that Thought-Knot Seer, but I
Right.
think in the grand scheme of things, there was just no way James was beating that Cavern of Souls.
That's a fair point.
And you know, he had the Wasteland, but I think using the Wasteland the turn he was absolutely correct. I don't think
Yeah.
that was a mistake in the slightest.
Getting that temple off the board quickly. Okay.
It ended up punishing him, of course, but I don't think he could have. I think if he had saved the Wasteland to destroy the Cavern of Souls, he still wouldn't have been able to daze those spells due to the fact that Mike would have had an extra land.
Exactly, that's a good point. All right, okay, so any feedback on maybe Mike's side? He deployed his threats, look like just on clock, right?
These Stompy decks aren't the most complex thing in the world
Sure.
to play. Rug Delver, there's certainly a lot of guess and checks you got to make. You got to say, well, I think they have card XYZ, so I need to play around that. But sometimes you guess card X and they have card Y. But
That's the struggle with playing a blue deck. Means that you are intrinsically more reactive than the deck that is all sorceries and Morphin Whales.
yes. What could have happened is if Mike had not drawn a land for 3 turns, I would have said that he could have improved by drawing the land.
That's fair.
But he hit the land on the first turn he needed. So, he played his deck right by top decking the land that he needed.
I'll skill, as you know.
Yeah, of course. That's how you beat Rug Delver, is you draw lands when you need to cast the spells off of them.
It's really as simple as that.
If you tap out every single turn versus Rug Delver, they run out of dazes. So you can do that over and over again and hope you win.
Right. Okay, all right. So that was our first game. We surely will be able to
That
find.
was the first match.
Oh, yeah, so.
Whole match,
Yeah,
there
there
were
were 2
2
games in
games.
there, yeah, I forgot. So
so
surely,
fast.
surely we'll be able to find a backup
I'm
match
sure,
here.
I'm sure.
All right. Last week,
Yes?
one of us, or not last week, last time I was here, one of us went to get the winner to come talk about how
Yeah?
his deck works.
Should we do that?
I think that'd be cool.
Do you want to interview him or should I?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Do you want to go fetch him?
Yeah, I'll go fetch
Okay,
him.
in the meantime, all right. Folks, we're going to stick around for just a minute here. Again, this is streaming live coverage of Legacy, brought to you here by Card Kingdom, in the heart of, it's still not sunny, in the heart of Seattle, Washington. That's a very good point, yes. On your screen now, you'll see is it a stream code? I actually have the monitors turned off here. There's a stream discount code available on the screen now. Go to cardkingdom.com and be able to use this coupon code exclusive to Twitch to get 5% off of any order of $25 or more in singles or foils. Today is the last day that it's available. And sorry, seeing in chat that no one wants to hear about Eldrazi. I know that Mike Kiesel has a lot to say about the deck. He's, I think, like 19-0 on Magic Online.
What? No,
With this
just
deck?
one.
It's just
League.
only one league that you
One
won
league,
with it.
yeah.
Cool. All right. And
But that leak was really awesome. Hold on.
I'd like to welcome Mike Kiesel to the booth here.
Hello.
Mike,
Hopefully that's fine
fresh,
enough.
fresh off of his win over James Johnson.
Yeah, with the greedy bastard. With that game one. It had Chalice Void, I wonder. How can I not? Just
I mean,
turn.
Yes.
Like, it's instant force check. I won the die roll. I'm on the play.
Your force check, you rolled good.
Yeah, I rolled good. So then I won.
As simple as that. Okay, so
Yeah.
I imagine you knew you were going into Rug Delver sitting down for the match, right?
Yes.
Okay, how does that affect the way that you approach your opening hand selection? Because
I would much rather want to play Chalice of the Void on one, no matter what. Like, I would not have kept that hand
right. Because
in any other situation.
your opener was what I thought 2 City of Traders,
One City of Trader.
and that was your only land?
That's my only.
You're so degenerate. Okay, but like
I
resolve-
can't believe I just did that on camera.
So that's the strength of resolving that Chalice on one.
Right.
Okay.
Just Rug Delver, like, he only has Tarmogoyfs then.
Right. It's got
And-
Daze and Force, and that's it.
Yeah, Days Force Tarmogoyfs are all he has left.
Okay.
So
You can expect few main deck artifact destruction effects.
yeah.
There's no like.
I did have a Mimic, so I did at least have a follow-up play.
So you weren't totally boned if he forced it. You were just
Right.
kind of.
I was just, yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
was not good.
so you drew like an Ancient Tomb and a City of Traders.
Yeah, I drew the second city first.
Okay, pretty
and I
fortunate.
decided not to play that because I could have played a Thought Knot on turn 2, and walked into a Daze if he had a Daze, which I would not want to do.
Okay.
And it said, yeah, went Mimic because I had the Mimic, and
Okay.
then I drew another land. So a benefit to having 24 lands in your deck.
That's fair.
And
Okay.
3 petals.
Okay, so you're playing 27 mana sources here
Yeah.
too. Okay.
So
Traditional for a Stompy deck, you just happen to be blessed with like an extra 2 sets of soul lands
right, yeah,
on top of the edge.
yeah.
All right.
So it's what, 14. So I'm only playing 3 eyes and 3 cities.
Okay. Oh sure. So then.
Yeah, but the 3 petals are really good. They let you, as you can see, game 2, get out the Chalice of the Void on turn 1.
Because some of your soul lands don't interact quite well with like fair cards, like Chalice of the Void, which
Yeah, is
traditionally
a
regarded-
fair card.
Yeah,
The fairest card. I'm sure James would have a different opinion on that.
Yeah, well, I was hoping that after you played the Chalice on 2, that you played a Chalice on 1 into it, so that it would counter itself. Like
Yeah,
the 2
yeah.
would counter the 1, and then he'd get an artifact in the graveyard. But
No.
I think that was probably his only route to victory.
Yeah.
And then you like misclick through attack a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you like Eldrazi in the current meta?
I think it's pretty solid. It beats it has game both versus a lot of fair decks and a lot of combo decks too.
Right.
Like Chalice, it has post board will have. So main deck it has 2 thorns. Post board it has 2 more thorns.
Like, so cancer, Jesus! Why would
Yeah.
you do this to us?
And then the 4 Thought Knots,
Right,
of course,
makes
are
sense.
really good at interacting with opponents.
Yeah, Reality Smasher can end the game very quickly.
Yeah.
Difficult to interact with. Okay.
I'm playing 3 Eldrazi Displacers, which are really good.
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
the
so you
white
did.
one, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm actually green white splash, so you don't.
Okay.
You didn't see any of the brush lands in the deck. The deck has 2 brush lands.
This is truly budget legacy.
Yeah, if you want the list, I just 5-0'd the league, so it's up. It's the most current Eldrazi Stumpy
Very nice.
list. So.
Coming in with a humble brag too. Josh, did we
Yeah,
find a backup?
humble
matches?
brag.
Cool. All right, are we set up now? Fantastic.
All right.
All right, Mike, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand it back off to.
Yeah, I
Josh
got to go
Monson.
back and keep smashing.
Reality Smash.
Yeah, hardly see.